Dear entrepreneur or water treatment professional, today I want to talk to you about an uncomfortable truth. Your problem perhaps isn't the product, because in the end you can sell the water purifier since the market is growing rapidly, okay? The problem is that nobody knows who you are. And so it might seem like a strong statement, but if you work in water treatment, you know perfectly well it's true. Now before we move on, I want to remind you to click below and subscribe to the Onnwater YouTube channel, and also click on the bell button so you receive notifications when a new video comes out. Now let's get back to where we left off. Today the market is full of companies that more or less do the same thing. They install water dispensers, sell water purifiers, and do maintenance. And when you communicate this way too, something very simple happens. You become almost invisible because you're saying exactly what everyone else is saying. Now stop for a moment and think about this. If a customer looks for a solution today, what do they find? They find websites that are all the same, promises all the same, words all the same, quality, professionalism, experience. But nobody's really saying anything actually. And above all, nobody puts themselves out there. No face, no opinion, no taking a stand. Just companies, just logos and communication that's often too institutional. And that's the real problem, because without a face, there's no trust. And without trust, there's no sale. Now, many installers make a mistake here. They think the customer actually chooses based on the type of water purifier or the technology. So let's say they think whoever has the best system wins, but the best technology, the best price. But in reality, especially today, it doesn't work just like that anymore. The customer chooses whoever gives them more certainty, whoever gives them more security. And you don't convey security through a catalog or a website, only a person conveys it. And here the concept of what's called a personal brand comes into play, which in our water treatment sector is still dearly undervalued. Personal brand doesn't mean becoming an influencer, don't get me wrong. It means becoming a point of reference. It means that when someone thinks of water in a certain market or in a certain geographic area, they think of you and not your company, but you as a person. Now I'll ask you a direct question. If one of your customers in your area were to recommend a system to someone today, would they say your name or your company's name? Because there's a huge difference. When you're a company, an entity, you're replaceable. And when you're instead a person, you're instead recognized. And so this completely changes the way you sell and the way you're perceived, because you no longer start from scratch every time, but you arrive already with a perception, you arrive already with trust, you arrive already with an advantage. But this advantage isn't built by talking about products. It's built by talking about what you know, what you see every day, what others don't say, okay? Imagine this example. When you install, imagine this example. How many installers actually explain what happens inside a system after maybe months of use? How many talk about the real limits of water purifier technologies? How many provide education instead of promotion? Very few. And this is the space you can occupy, because the customer isn't just looking for a solution, they're looking for someone who truly understands the problem. And when they find that person, they stop comparing. And this is where the real change happens, from a company, let's say, without a name, without an identity, to a go-to person. And this has a huge impact on your sales too, because it changes the dynamic. It's no longer you chasing the customer. It's the customer who arrives already predisposed, already convinced, already trusting. And this also allows you to do something fundamental. It can help you defend your prices, because when you sell a product, you are comparable. When you sell yourself as a person, it's different. You're not comparable, you're not replaceable. And mind you, selling yourself doesn't mean putting yourself at the center in an egoistic way. It means taking responsibility. It means saying, I put my face on it, I explain how things are, I take responsibility for what I install. And today this is worth much more than any single brochure. Now I understand what you might be thinking, but I'm not used to exposing myself, I don't know what to say, I don't have time. These are all objections, they're all normal mental limits, but the point is something else. If you don't do it, someone else will, some other competitor of yours, and whoever does it will take the space in your customers' heads. And once that space is occupied, it's hard to get it back. Because you see, personal branding has a cumulative effect. The more you communicate, the more you're recognized. The more you're recognized, the more you're chosen. The more you're chosen, the less you have to convince. And this is today's real competitive advantage. Not the product, not the price, but the perception. So I'll end with a reflection. In your water treatment sector, there are still too many companies communicating as if it were 2005. Just services, features, offers, but the market has moved on. And today, whoever manages to create a relationship, whoever manages to be perceived, whoever manages to become a figure, a recognizable person, wins. So the question is very simple. Do you want to continue being one of many companies, one of many entities, or do you want to become the name people mention when talking about water in your market? Because that's where everything changes. So this video is coming to an end. I invite you to click subscribe below to the Onnwater channel, YouTube channel, and also click on the bell so you receive notifications when these valuable videos full of tips come out and you're among the first to see them. See you in the next video.